This was something that I had wanted to be a part of since freshman year.
And this is my first time at the Redstones.
It's overwhelming.
All I can think of is everybody else.
Movies don't just happen. It takes immense dedication and passion to put a vision on the big screen. I'm Iris Moore, and I'll introduce you to the young filmmakers who were recognized at this year's Redstone Film Festival. They will share their inspiration behind the art of filmmaking. They're the real deal.
The affair was kind of like a vehicle to explore that feeling before reality breaks in, and what happens when reality breaks and you have to deal with what's real instead of what you want. And that was what kind of inspired After. I think is one thing. It's as a director, it's difficult to, you get lost in your mind and what you want, and then you're not seeing it, and it's kind of retaining that sense of calm and problem solving at the moment, and trying to think of what will best serve the story. Everyone was prepared, everybody knew what the story was, everyone was intimately involved, and so there was never a sense of like, oh, we're gonna back down because there's a blizzard. It was just kind of like, all right, what are we gonna do now? Like, this is, it's a new challenge, but it actually really worked. It was a blessing rather than a curse.
As such, we are thrilled to welcome Emily Sheehan into the Adrian Shelley Foundation family.
So I would say to other filmmakers, and especially younger filmmakers, is don't get caught up in the tools, don't get caught up in the style, or I need to get this shot because my producer says I need this time and I have to get, focus on why, like why the subtext, why the substance, why now, why is this important to the narrative. I wouldn't be able to be standing here right now without the help of the people who were sitting in that audience with me. Brian C., he was there with me the whole time. He was my cinematographer. He was someone that I trusted, someone that I could go to for my narrative, and he helped me all along the way, kind of building these characters, building the environment, and he was like my rock on set. When everything was falling apart, everything was blizzarding and it was wild, he was calm. And because he was calm, I was calm, and we kind of did it together. So I was so honored and just so happy for him that he won for Winter Spring, and I couldn't think of anyone who was more deserving of it.
María, ¿qué esperas?
I remember going to Redstones in the past and not liking the work in a certain way. It always seemed to be missing something, and it still is, because we're students. So I think it's good to be skeptical. I think it's good to say, I don't know if that person deserved what they were. I don't know if that film really stood out to me, blah, blah, blah. It's good to place yourself and know where you stand with film, because if you don't do that, if you just love everything, you're never going to find your voice. The dirty secret is that we didn't really have a script, and we just had a bunch of shots written down and the beats, and that's it. So it was kind of disorganized, and my actors hated me for it. despite the suffering, it's weird. It set a new standard of how terrible a film set can be, and I think it brought us together in a way because the conditions were so bad that we had to be a team at the end of the day. We were told that it was impossible to cast. I was looking for 2 bilingual actors, and the casting director, that is around Boston, said, no, you can't do it. You won't find these people. But I was like, no, we're going to find them.
Working with Brian. Oh, God. You tell them working with Brian.
Working with Brian. Super guy. Super Brian.
He tortured us, but it's okay.
Just a little.
Just a little.
With the cold. But
and the frost bites.
The llamas. The llamas.
The llamas.
And the sheep.
And the bees.
And the bears. And lions. Oh,
you have no idea.
Casting is a weird process for me because I usually tend to act alongside the actors, so I don't sit behind a desk. I tend to get into the improvisation with them, and that helps me see if they work with their partner.
He gets on our level when it comes to different scenes. He's just not in the back looking at what we're doing. He's actually in there with us, empathizing through every single scene. So that for me, for our characters, it was a lot of work, but it was appreciated from him.
He's really easygoing, so he just talks to you just like a friend. So it's everything comes out really naturally. So you don't really have to how do I do this? He's really straight to the point and just makes you feel relaxed.
So yeah, it's nice to just be here and enjoy it with people that I really like, my crew and my cast and all my peers.
Vows was one of the first big projects that I have ever done, and definitely with that sort of responsibility level, and it was just such a great learning experience to really understand what goes into making a film, and when you have to sort of scratch the grand take that you have in your head and go for a more realistic approach. And it was a great learning experience about compromise and teamwork, and I'm really happy that I experienced it.
The end is kind of a big surprise. You're not no one's supposed to expect that that's what's going to happen, and also it's really gory. So I think we really wanted people to be shocked, or stunned silence is definitely what we were going for.
We had initially thought of a more muted tone, but then we kind of figured that it was such an intense film, and we wanted everything to sort of be so, you wanted to overstimulate your senses and just have you feeling exactly what Rosario is feeling. That's sort of what led the creative decision to go that way. I mean, my producer, Vegeta, is just the best. She mothered us through 3 months of filming. She just held our hands, and she was the best.
Producing is no walk in the park. But it's really important just to keep your team together and keep everyone motivated. And also just the art of compromising. You start off with a plan, but sometimes you're going to have to change things on the fly, but still kind of be true to your original vision. That, and also an appreciation for every role that factors into making a good film. You really gain a lot of perspective on how much work goes in and how many people behind the scenes you never see, but do so much. And I have a lot of respect for that.
I think that with our group, we worked very well together, and we were very open about what was working and what wasn't. And we communicated really well, which in the end definitely helped us, because it was just such a ridiculous process that it's incredible that it even got done. And yeah, it was definitely a team effort.
There you have it, a first-hand look at what it takes to make a movie. A lot more than just hard work, right? Now, don't be surprised if you hear more about these special individuals and their accomplishments down the road. They've clearly got what it takes. They're the real deal.